So I'm now over with James Nicholls at Halcyon Auctions in Mascot, and James is about to have an auction on this Sunday, the 25th of May. He's got some absolutely classic vehicles for sale in the auction. Well worth getting a look at them. But I wanted to firstly ask James about the Sydney Harbour Concourse. What was the fallout of that in way of how good was it for you? And I guess you're already looking at next year.
Well, I think it was. Thank you, Stephen. I think it was. It was really hard work for me, but hopefully for all of our guests, it was absolutely fantastic. I think it was the best one yet. It was our magnificent 7th edition, and I think it went really well. We were blessed with good weather. I haven't had many negative comments, if any, and lots of positive ones. Lots of media coverage, both in Australia, in the UK, in Italy, in the US. And I think the event was very well received, and I think it's really helping us to establish the event on the international stage and start to get more international cars. We had a couple this year, but our objective is to get sort of half a dozen or so every year to really give it an international flavour.
Yeah. And your other line is Halcyon Auctions. This is the second one I think you've done this year.
The first one this year, we had one at the October-November time last year. We've got another one coming up in October this year, which is going to be held at the Royal Automobile Club of Australia, which I think will be a really interesting joint venture, if you like. It's going to be held on their premises in the downstairs garage. It should be great. And I think, I've always been a bit reticent. The cars we've got at the moment, we've got some really nice cars, and I describe those as interesting collector cars. But for the one later in the year, we're really going to try and bring a few more expensive cars along and to test the market a little bit there. So we've got one or two pricey ones in this, but we've also got some lovely cheapies. But I think the main thing is wherever we do an auction, we want to make sure that the cars are reasonably priced to sell, and very good examples and trustworthy examples of the marque and the model.
Yeah. And I'm in the showroom with the cars at the moment, and you posted up some messages about the Porsche Trio. So why don't we start with the Porsche Trio and then work our way around some of the cars to give people a view of what you've got coming up, and then at the end we can talk about how they can get involved.
Sure. Well, the Porsche Trio, there's only two of them here at the moment. The other one should have been delivered yesterday, so I need to chase that up to find out when that's coming. But hopefully that'll be here in time for the sale. They're down the back there. We've got the 3-litre RS replica, which is really an out-and-out race car. It is road registered or road registerable, but it's really very much a track car. But one of those cars that you could drive to the track, take round the track, and then drive home again. And then next to that, we've got fantastic 964 Tiptronic, which is just magnificent beast, very well priced, beautiful blue car, and really, really nice Carrera too. What else can I tell you about, Sid?
I've noticed you've got two Renaults, and I've been looking at some Renaults because the Renault 20 and 30 turned 50 this year. So I've been doing a bit of homework, and the Fuego is from my youth that you've got out front, the 2-litre GTX. Very unusual to see one of those here.
It is. There are not many in Australia. But I think the most unusual thing about that car is the condition. It is absolutely remarkable condition, absolutely beautiful. And everybody says, "Oh, it's the best one in the world." I would hazard a guess that there are not many better, even in France. And of course, it's in that sort of racy red. They gave it a racy name, Fuego. They gave it a racy colour. Most of them were in that sort of almost Ferrari red. But a great car, and I remember one fondly, driving one from England to Italy in about when was that? but many years ago, and they're a really good motor car. Michel, who works here with us, who is French, is absolutely gobsmacked by it, and he's been taking pictures and sending it to all of his old mates in France, and they're all going, "Okay, we cannot believe how fantastic." Anyway, it is fantastic, and it's in really, really good condition. Beautiful motor car if you want a Renault Fuego. But if you don't want a Renault Fuego and you want a Renault 12 wagon, that's pretty exciting. Again, very clean, really good bodywork. I love the roof rack on that car, built-in roof rack. It's a really clean car. I quite like French cars. I very much like French cars. And yesterday, for myself, I went to look at a Renault 4. I've been hankering after a Renault 4. So I went to look at it, and I hastened to add to the chat that I'm not buying the, I am in the trade, but I'm not buying this. I'm buying this for myself. But he wanted, I think, silly money for it, and that makes that Renault 12 look incredibly cheap, because the Renault 4 was it was great fun, and I loved it, but it was a pretty, in comparison, a grim example. Yes. Whereas if you wanted a little runabout Renault 12 wagon, if you're an antiques dealer or something like that, I think
a Lovejoy from our old days.
I think it's really good and very reasonably priced. And as I'm talking, I'm just trying to remember what the price was. But I mean, I think we've got that on an estimate of 7 to 10. I'm going to just double check that by going to the Halcyon app. It gives you a chance to plug the app. You can download that on the App Store. You can bid online through the app. You can see all that's happening. Yeah, let me just check that one.
While you're looking for that, I actually learned to drive in a Renault 4.
Well,
and it had what we termed the tilt light, because if you went round a corner too hard, the oil light came on.
I love that. The Renault 12, where is it? I should put my glasses on to try and read this. It's goodness. Well, so the Renault Fuego, that's estimated 11 to 16.
Okay.
So I think that's very good value for money. And the Renault 12 R12 Estate, estimate 7.5 to 9.5.
Yeah.
So for $8,000, you could get a fantastic runaround in that. And I know that came up from Lithgow, which I think is about a 3-hour drive. Yeah. And the Frenchman drove it because we thought, just in case something went wrong, the Frenchman drove it. It ran without hitch. Had a bit of a sloppy gear change, but that was just the gate, and that's been sorted out. So the gear change is now magnificent, and the car runs and goes really well. I love it.
You have a couple of Volvos here.
Yeah, we've got 2 Volvos. We've got the Saint Job P1800S. Really, really nice car in the white. It's not quite the Saint because he had red seats. Mm-hmm. This one's got black interior. Really nice car. I mean, looking on car sales at the moment, everybody seems to be asking 75, 85 for them. But I think this one could be purchased in the 40s with a bit of luck for a lucky bidder. I think it's a really, really nice car. Yep. Pulls really well, body's really nice. I think with a bit of love and attention, it could be pulled up to a really, really very, very smart car. And so with a little bit of love and attention, could even become a Concours car. It's quite a smart thing.
It is.
But quite, I suppose, idiosyncratic, but I think for people, great shape. The other car we've got is a Volvo T850 wagon, which is really, really rare in the fact that it's white, which doesn't seem, every other car on the road seems to be white these days. But to find one of these in white with manual transmission, so really rare car colour. And a really and to have it as manual, and of course they used to race those.
Yes,
it's pretty swift, in immaculate condition. It's done big mileage, done I think 360,000 kilometres, but it's a Volvo, so it'll probably do another
Yes.
360,000 without any problems.
Yeah.
But in remarkably fine condition, excellent books and provenance, really good car. I love it. Again, if you were, I think that's definitely a car for an antiques dealer.
I think if you've got the desire for space, and you're looking at something with a bit of performance and a bit of a classic, that's an absolute goer.
Yeah, I think if you're bashing up and down the motorway and you want to get somewhere quickly with a big load, it's a perfect car for it. Perhaps a big car for around town, but say, if you're doing some mileage, and that's got all the bells and whistles on it, Volvo 850T wagon in white manual, very rare.
And then further back, is that a Jag I spy in the middle?
Jaguar XKR convertible. I mean, it just seems to me ridiculously cheap for a huge amount of motor car. It's the supercharged XKR. Really nice. So I mean, it's fabulous. Black with a stone interior, convertible. Just really, really wonderful car to drive. And very exciting and very quick.
Yes, they are. One of the things that when I was looking at those level of cars, I looked at a couple of Jags like that, but then went the Italian way instead, but only with the Jags because of the family sort of connection to Jaguar over many decades. But I did go to the dark side in the end. Talking about Italians, you've got a couple hidden underneath as well.
Yeah, we've got the Alfa Romeo 1750 Berliner, which is a really nice car. We've known that car for a long time with several owners. Really, really good car. Unfortunately, the current owner's not particularly well, so that one's going to go to a new home. But a really nice, clean car and a really good runner. And then next to that, we've got the Fiat 2300 Coupe. Yeah. We've had a lot of interest in that. Remarkably pretty car, gear design, really, really cool car. It's got Baranis on it. It's got a Nardi steering wheel, though the original Fiat steering wheel comes with it as well. I think it's a super car. That I really like it.
It has shades of a bit of Sebring in it as well when you look at it from some angles.
Yeah, I think you can, people tend to poo-poo Fiats, but they made some great cars. And, you mentioned Maserati Sebring. If you look at that car, I mean, we had a Lancia Flaminia parked next to it. That's not in the sale, but we had it parked next to it. And really, the car's every bit as pretty for an awful lot less money. And when I look at it, I can sort of see a bit of Ferrari going on in there. And, I think it's a really clever design from Gear. Very, very nice motor car.
Yeah. And then hidden away at the back, you've got a couple of other probably more mundane vehicles compared to the others.
That Volkswagen Golf, you might think is mundane, but it's a VR6, so that's the proverbial off the shovel, and really quite a rare motor car to find one that's not been bashed to bits. Or I think this is a very, very clean car, low mileage, really, really nice car. So VR6 racy version. Next to it is quite mundane, but this is the archetypal one careful lady owner from new. And this has been taken away from her by her son. So she's an older lady. She hasn't been using it much recently. And anyway, her son, who I know very well, loves his mother dearly. So anything and everything would have been, and he's quite a wealthy man, would have been done on this Mercedes-Benz C200 compressor with the Elegance line. So it's really rather remarkable. I think we've got 8 to 10 on that.
Okay.
It's not done a huge number of miles for a Mercedes, and it's in beautiful condition with every piece of paper from new. And I think that's a very good buy for somebody.
That would be at that price, and again, it would be something that you could run around, the suburbs in quite happily for another 20, 30 years because they are very reliable.
Yeah, I mean, this is when Mercedes still built fantastic cars. Very, very solid, very safe, quite conservative, but you could, as I say, run around in that. A bit more. Another Mercedes that we've got is this beautiful wagon, which is a bit more sporty, if you like. This is C250 sport wagon, in really, really good condition, and these go really well. And yeah, we're having a bit of a wagon fest this time with the Volvo, the Renault, and this C250 Mercedes
they're all very
Sport.
practical, but they're all, even the Renault, they've got a bit of style to them, and the wagons, the Merc and the Volvo are absolute, probably quite dynamite to drive in handling and things.
Yeah, I think if you wanted a fast wagon, you're in the Volvo or the Mercedes. I think the Renault would be a bit more sedate. But I do love, as I say, the inbuilt roof rack and rails on that car, and the blue pinstripe and the white. It's great. Love it.
So how do you find the cars for your auctions? Where do they typically come from?
Well, from various people. I mean, we've got from one gentleman 4 cars, I think, 3 cars.
Okay.
And he had 3 cars in our previous sale, which went well for him. And so he's given us some more. He's got quite a large collection. But as auction houses, death, divorce and taxes, as they say. So unfortunately, 4 or 5 of the cars we've got in the sale are coming from people who are not very well anymore, who think, right, well, time for the car to go, or getting a bit older. And so that's how we pick those up. And then 1 or 2 people, the other Porsche that isn't here yet, the 930 Turbo, I don't know the story there. Maybe he needs the money, I don't know, or maybe he just wants to buy another car. So it's various people. The Volvo P1800S, the guy hasn't got any room to park it, so
I know that feeling.
He doesn't want to leave it sitting outside. The same with this Mazda. And then we've got this fantastic, just up, which will come down for the sale, but just up on there at the moment, Peugeot 406 Coupe, 3-litre, beautiful Pininfarina design. And it's just a matter of, we've got a bit of a reputation, or I've got a bit of a reputation, know a lot of people in cars.
Yes.
And so they know what, and people are very helpful in that if they're thinking of selling their car, they try and help and say, would you like it, James? So, but I say with the next sale, I think, we've got a couple of cars that are in the 100,000 bracket, but most of these are, from some even less than 10 through to 30, 40, 50. We're going to really try and bring in some real collector specials.
Well, you've pretty much got some collector specials here with the Renault Fuego and the Volvo, 60s Volvo Coupe, which looks absolutely stunning. And then, when you go back and we're talking about the Renault and the Alphas and the Fiats and things.
Yeah, I mean, they're really good cars.
It's not that you're finding very boring kit. You're finding some absolutely special machines that are here, and hopefully will go to the next owner and be well looked after and loved.
Well, let's hope so, because as I say, I think there's some really lovely cars here. You can bid online, of course, now. At halcyonauctions.com, and then at 2:00 on Sunday we've got viewing Friday and Saturday between 10 and 4, viewing Sunday morning from 10 till 2, and then at 2:00 I put my suit on and pick up my gavel, and we take wherever we're at online live and finish with a live sale, try and do a bit of theatre.
And is that so live? Can you actually bid through the app as well?
Yes. So you can bid in a whole host of different ways. You can bid online through your computer. You can bid through the app. You can telephone bid. You can place an absentee bid. and you can be here in person at 12 Chalmers Crescent, Mascot, and put your hand, hold your bidding paddle up.
Yep. Okay. And I've got the app because I used it for one of your other auctions where you had some memorabilia and picked up some items from that. So I regularly look at that, and I would recommend anybody that is looking for memorabilia or cars to download the app and keep checking that. Get onto the mailing list as well through Halcyon Auctions, because you'll find that you'll get a nice little email reminding you of what's coming up, and that's one of the reasons why I'm here today, is because I got that reminder that you've got an auction coming up with some fairly special cars as well. So lots of ways to get in touch with James, and there are always cars coming up, and I'm sure you'll have quite a few in the future that will entice people.
Well, let's hope so, Stephen. And we're also doing, as well as we're going to have another automobilia sale later in the year. Our next sale, though, is going to be of Australian ceramics.
Okay.
So we are not just cars, but obviously with my background, primarily cars, and that's our focal point. But there's a plan for an art sale and also a watch sale. Well, watches and cars, they go together. Yeah. But so we've got, once this sale's done, there's the Australian ceramic sale, which will just be an online sale, and then planned for October, the next car sale at the Royal Automobile Club.
Perfect. Okay, well, everybody needs to download the app, have a look at the cars, and then get your fingers on the keyboards and start bidding. Thank you, James. Much appreciated.
Thank you, Stephen.